Good morning, students. We were discussing about the separation of substances. In previous class, we had discussed the physical method of separation of substances when the mixtures component are in the solid states. In the solid-solid mixtures, the components can be separated by different methods of separation, and we have already discussed in the previous class. Just rewind the concept once again what we had discussed in the previous class, that is in lecture number 2. The first method, hand picking, that we had discussed. Hand picking means picking the unwanted material with the help of the hand. I was a bit surprised when one student of your class asked me, "Ma'am, what is the meaning of hand picking?" So I thought I should show you one activity. Now see, this is rice grains, okay? And some of the black particles, which is the black paper actually, but just you assume this is the unwanted particles which are mixed with the rice grains. Okay. Now, before preparation of the rice, what your mother used to do? She used to clean the rice. She is removing all the unwanted materials from the rice, and then she prepares it either by giving whistles in the pressure cooker or by boiling in the water. Now see, the black pepper which we have assumed as the unwanted, you can see the shape, the size as well as the texture. It is different from the rice grain. As well as the numbers of the black pepper, that is the unwanted particles, it is also lesser than the rice grains. Clear to you? Now what we will do? We will pick it one by one with the help of our hands and fingers. Clear? All the black papers we will pick by our hands. Clear? This is known as hand picking method. Now separation we have done. Clear idea? So this is first method that we had discussed as the method of separation when the mixtures component are in solid state. Mixture of solids with solids. Second, we had read about the threshing. Threshing is used by the farmers in the farm. What happens in the threshing? The separation of grains from the stalk. The ripened crops, it is beaten on the ground so that the grains with the husk, it will be separated from the crop. Clear? Then we had discussed about the winnowing. What is the winnowing? The person stands in the direction of the wind. Okay? And the lighter particles, due to the pressure of the wind, it goes or fall down away from the person. And the heavier grains, it falls near the person. Picture I shown you in the last class. This is the direction of the wind. The person is standing on a height. The heavier particles, which is actually grains, it falls near the base, and the lighter one, it goes away, and which is the husk, lighter in weight, it goes away from the base. And this way separation is done. Sieving, it is done by the sieve. This type of sieve you must have seen at your home. And with this sieve, which is made up of wire mesh fixed tightly in a frame, it is used to separate the components of the different size. At construction area or site, we have seen the sieving of sand is done with a very big type of sieve. In our home, generally we remove the that roughage particle of the wheat flour, and then we prepare the chapati. The two important points I gave you: in Kerala, the cashew nuts, it is separated depending upon the size by the process of sieving, and the jewelers also separate the pearls by the method of sieving. Then we read the magnetic separation. Magnet is used to attract the materials which is made up of iron. First example I gave you, if you have a mixture of sand and pebbles, the magnet will not work because sand is not made up of any iron material. Even the pebbles also does not contain iron. But in the second mixture, you see, one is sand and the another one is your iron nails. The iron nails are magnetic in nature. Hence, here the magnet can be used to separate the iron nails from the sand. It is seen that the iron scrap from the garbage, generally it is separated with the help of the magnetic crane. Then it is recycled and reused. Then the fourth one we have read about the sublimation. Now what happens in sublimation? Camphor. When you burn the camphor which is actually the solid state, after burning it changes into gaseous state. Means solid directly changes into gaseous state. Even the naphthalene ball you must have seen. When you keep the naphthalene ball in your wardrobe, after a month or two, the naphthalene balls started reducing in its size. Why? Have you ever thought of it? That why it reduces into its size, into small size? Actually, the big naphthalene ball, after some times, it changes into vapor form and reduces its size. This method is known as sublimation. Do you know what is this? This is a piece of camphor, and I am going to perform an activity to make you more clear about the sublimation. Now just notice. Please don't perform this alone at your home. Do it in the guidance of your parent. See, after burning, the solid camphor is changing into fumes, and you will see that whole camphor will burn and it will convert it into fumes. This method is known as sublimation. Okay, the next one. So these much methods we had discussed in our last class. Today we will move with the next method of separation. So separation of the substances, mixtures of solids with liquids. Now solid over, we will move with the another type of mixtures in which one component is in solid state and the another component is in the liquid state. Clear? Now this mixture is of two types. One is homogeneous and the another one is your heterogeneous. Could you remember the meaning or difference between the homogeneous and the heterogeneous mixture? Homo means when the components are uniformly distributed into the whole part of the mixture, whereas heterogeneous when the distribution is not uniform. Now you see, the camphor is burnt and changes completely into fume. You see, little bit is left, but most of the camphor solid particle, it is changes into fumes. This is your sublimation. Now come back to the heterogeneous and the homogeneous. Homogeneous means it is uniformly distributed. Clear to you? Distributed. Whereas heterogeneous, the distribution is non-uniform. Clear to you? Now I am giving you two examples. In the case of homogeneous, the sugar is mixed into water. Heterogeneous, the sand is mixed into water. what difference you will see in these two types of mixtures? The sugar will dissolve. The sugar will dissolve as sugar is soluble substance. Clear to you? But the sand does not dissolve. The sand particles, right, do not dissolve because it is insoluble particles. Understood? Soluble and insoluble we have read in our previous class also. Clear? Now, separating solids that dissolve in liquids. First of all, we will discuss about the separation of substance of the homogeneous mixture. Okay, means when the sugar or salt dissolved in the water, then what methods we will use to separate them? There are only two methods. One is evaporation, the another one is your crystallization. Clear? Second one, separating the solids that do not dissolve in liquid. Sand. Sand do not dissolve in water because it is insoluble substance. Then what methods we will be using? First, sedimentation. One by one we will make the concept clear. Then second one, decantation. Third one, loading. Fourth one, filtration. And the fifth one is your centrifugation. Okay. First, evaporation. Evaporation term you all are familiar because in last year standard 5 we had discussed about the evaporation and condensation when we were reading about the rainwater cycle. Evaporation, change of liquid water into vapor form. The simple definition we had read. Now what we will write in the context of the separation of substance? What we will write? See, the process in which the liquid part of a mixture gets converted into its vapor form. Once again, if a mixture is there and the one part means one component is in liquid state and the another one is in the solid state, then what will happen? When we will heat the mixture, the liquid will evaporate. Liquid will evaporate whereas the solid will remain behind, and this method is known as evaporation. Now see, through an activity, this I can't perform, but I'll try to make you clear through the diagram. This is a beaker. Okay, the beaker is half filled with the water. 4 to 5 spoons of salt is added to it, and with the help of the glass rod, the solution is stirred. What will happen? The salt will dissolve. Now the mixture is ready. Mixture is ready in which two components are there. Salt in the solid state, water in the liquid state. Now transfer this mixture into the china dish. Okay, into the china dish, which is a container used for doing practicals. China dish, after transferring it, take a burner. This is the burner. With the help of the burner, we will heat the mixture. This is your flame. Okay. Now, we will heat the mixture. What will happen? At certain temperature, when the water part of the mixture, when it becomes warm and hot, it will start changing into vapor form. You see, vapor is forming. Okay. And after some times, after reaching a particular temperature, the water will start boiling. Means the water will completely start boiling and it will change into vapor. And then what will happen? When all the water will get evaporated, only a whitish particle will left behind in the china dish. This is your white substance left behind in the china dish. Do you know what is this? This is your salt. This method is known as Evaporation. Once again, the liquid part, when it is heated, it changes into vapor form. This is your evaporation. Clear? Next one. The next method is crystallization. What is the meaning of crystallization? To obtain pure solid in the crystal form from the mixture. Have you ever noticed the crystals of the sugar? It is mostly of same shape and size. Mostly it is in the cube form. This is known as crystal. Clear to you? So, crystallization to obtain pure solid from the mixture. It is a process which separates a pure solid in the form of a crystal from saturated solution. Now, what is the meaning of saturated solution? Could you remember? When the solute will stop dissolving. When you mix 4 to 5 spoons of sugar or salt in the water, it will dissolve. But after that, if you still adding the number of spoons of sugar or salt in the solution, it will not dissolve because the solution has become saturated. Means no more space is there to take the further particles of the solid. Clear to you? Now see again, this is from the picture or diagram. I'll make you clear. Again, this is a beaker. The beaker is filled with the water. And here the sugar is added. This is the 4 to 5 spoons of the sugar we have added. Clear? Now the mixture is ready. The solution has become saturated because it has been seen that now the sugar is not dissolving in the water. Now transfer this saturated solution again to the china dish. Okay? And heat with the help of the burner. Clear? This is the stand, tripod stand it is known as, and this base or support is known as wire gauge. Clear to you? Now, when the mixture is heated, what will happen? Again, there will be evaporation. The liquid part will evaporate and only the crystals will left behind in the china dish. This way we will separate. Now there must be one question, ma'am, then what is the difference between evaporation or crystallization? Both are looking same. Yes or no? Actually, evaporation only when the water changes into vapor form. See, if this is a china dish and you have transferred the mixture here, and if you are providing or supplying heat to the mixture, the liquid part will start boiling, and this change of liquid into vapor is known as evaporation. Clear to you? When all the liquid part evaporates, only the white material left in the china dish. This is known as crystallization. Clear to you? See, the method is same. The method of evaporation and crystallization is same. But what happens? The evaporation is always followed by crystallization. First, evaporation will take place, then crystallization will occur. See what I have written? Evaporation is used to separate a solid substance that has dissolved in water or any liquid. Crystallization is a process of cooling a hot concentrated solution to obtain crystals. Means when the water will boil, evaporation over, after that the mixture gets cooled down and then it changes into crystals. It is known as crystallization. You know, the common salt that we eat, it is generally prepared by the evaporation method. Now what happens? The sea water, it is collected near the sea in a shallow bed. Okay, just near the sea, a bed is prepared in which all the sea water or most of the sea water is collected in that bed. And after that, due to the heat of the sun, the water gets evaporated and whitish material is left in the bed with some of the impurities. Now this is salt, but the salt contains the impurities also. It is taken back to the factories and then it is purified and it is changes into the crystal forms. That is known as crystallization. Please never ever be confused. Evaporation is just change of water into vapor, and after that crystallization occurs. Clear to you? Forms of that substance or formation of the substance into crystal form is known as crystallization. Clear? Next one is your sedimentation. What is the meaning of sedimentation? For this, I just want to perform an activity. This is a glass of water. And what is this? This is red lentil. Okay. Now I am putting this into the water. The mixture is ready. The mixture is ready. Now you can see that the lentil is insoluble in the water. The lentil is insoluble in the water. Which type of mixture is this? Is it homogeneous or heterogeneous? It is heterogeneous mixture because you can see the pulse is not uniformly distributed into the mixture. Clear to you? Now, mixture is ready. What we have to do? First you stir it. We have seen that the mixture is not, or the solute is not dissolved into the water. Now leave it on the table untouched for some times. What will happen? We will see that the pulse, the lentil is settled down at the bottom of the glass. Okay? It is settled down at the bottom of the glass. You can see in the picture. This is the glass, the water is added, and here I have written sand. The sand is mixed into the water. What will happen? After stirring and leaving it untouched for some times, the sand will settle down at the bottom. This sand is known as sediments. This lentil is again also known as sediment. This method of settling of heavier object or substance into the water is known as sedimentation. The process of settling down of heavy insoluble solid particles mixed in a liquid is known as sedimentation. See, sedimentation is going the method of settling of the heavier particles. Now what I will do? Very slowly I'll keep this glass in my hand and pouring the water into the another container slowly so that only water will get transferred from the glass to the bowl. Do it very carefully. Done. Almost all the water has been separated from the mixture. Separation is done or not? Done? This is the liquid part, this is the solid part. This method is known as decantation. You see? Slowly it is poured. The sediments remain behind in the first beaker and the water is transferred into the second beaker. Decantation. The process of pouring out clear liquid without disturbing the sediments is called decantation. The method is clear? Okay. What is sedimentation and what is decantation? These methods are used to remove insoluble impurities from river and canal water. The canal water and the river water, it is transported to our homes through different water system plants. Okay, and these waters contain many of the impurities which is actually insoluble. They are removed by this method also, sedimentation and decantation, and after that filtration and many more methods are done. But the first method that to clear all the impurities from the river and canal water, it is your sedimentation and decantation. It is also used in water treatment plants. The next one is your loading. What is the meaning of loading? Have you ever seen the shopkeepers when they broom the outer part of their shop, they first sprinkles water and then they sweep the floor if it is not cemented. I have seen in my childhood days, when I used to go to my village, I saw my grandma. She used to sweep the angan, the courtyard, with the help of the broom. But before that, she was sprinkling the water onto the uncemented floor of my house, village house. Then I asked my Dadi, why you are doing this? Then my grandma told, ki if I will not do this, then during my brooming or sweeping of the floor, I may get suffocation due to the dust particles. Even you have experienced when the rain falls, the air becomes very clear. The air, all the dust particles which is hanging into the air, it settles down due to the weight of the sand particles as it is covered with the water. The same thing. This is your sedimentation process. Mixture is again ready. Okay. Slowly, the pulse particle, the lentil is settling down. You know, the sedimentation process is a slow process. Have you seen alum, fitkari? If you dip the alum into the solution, the speed of the particles will become more. Means the particles are slowly coming down to the bottom. But when you dip alum into just tie a thread to the alum or fitkari and dip 3 to 4 times into the solution, what will happen? The particles will get the weight. How? See. This is your water and this is the sand particles. Clear to you? Which is suspended into the solution. Take a alum piece, tie it with the thread and just dip it 4 to 5 times. This is the thread and this is the piece of the alum. Okay. Now what will happen? The particles which are very light in weight, this is the particle. This is the particles which is very light in weight. What will happen? When we dip the alum into the solution, the alum will dissolve and cover all the particles, and due to which it will gain the weight. The weight will be increased, and due to heavy in weight, the particles will settle down very fast into the bottom of the glass or container. This method is known as loading. The loading help in cleaning the air after rainfall, and the shopkeepers, they broom or sweep the uncemented floor after sprinkling the water. So what is the loading? Loading is the method of speeding up the rate of sedimentation by making light suspended particles, suspended means which is hanged, particles heavier using suitable chemicals. Which chemical? By using alum or fitkari. That much in today's class. Now this is for time for the homework. What you have to do? You have to write the definition of evaporation, crystallization, sedimentation, decantation and loading. Okay. PDF I will be sending you in your WhatsApp online class, and you can take the help from the keywords if you have the textbook with you. Okay. Second question, how is salt formed? How is salt formed? That is given in page number 57, and I have explained you salt is formed when the sea water is collected in the shallow bed, and due to the heat of the sunlight, the water gets evaporated and only the whitish powder like substance left behind in the bed, which is known as salt. But you can take the reference from the page number 57. One more thing I left. This is very important part, that 1 liter of sea water, it is generally contains, or approximately it contains 36 gram of salt. This is very important point. Please just keep in your mind that 1 liter of sea water contains 36 grams of salt. Clear? Thank you. We will meet in the next class. Bye bye.